He's the man who defined cool for 3 generations, from the lawless plains of the Old West to the gritty streets of San Francisco. Clint Eastwood isn't just a movie star, he's a cinematic institution. But behind the squint and the gravelly voice lies one of the most sophisticated acting careers in Hollywood history. Welcome back to WN Movie Talk and Happy New Year. To kick off 2026, we are counting down the 10 definitive performances that turned a TV cowboy into a multi-Oscar winning legend. Will the vengeful spirit of Josie Wales outrun the stubborn redemption of Walt Kowalski? Can the raw urban cynicism of Harry Callahan truly fend off the mythic, silent legacy of the man with no name? We are pitting icon against icon to see which version of Clint stands tallest. We're breaking down the grit, the silence, and the surprising vulnerability of the ultimate Hollywood tough guy. But before we start, I want to be clear. This list is just the opening argument. The final word belongs to you. So give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and make sure that your say counts. Head down into the comments right now and tell me your personal favourite Clint Eastwood roles, and we are going to be tallying your votes from this video to compile the official WN Community Top 10 Clint Eastwood roles later this season. But for now, let's dive into the legend that is Clint Eastwood as we explore his top 10 roles. Number 10, The Stranger from High Plains Drifter 1973. We start with Eastwood's second outing as a director, where he took the man with no name archetype and turned it into something far more macabre. The Stranger is a nameless drifter who rides into the corrupt town of Largo and agrees to protect them from outlaws, but only if he can run the town his way. It's a surreal, almost supernatural performance where Clint isn't just a hero, he's an avenging ghost. Eastwood's portrayal here is icy and ruthless, pushing the boundaries of the traditional Western protagonist. He barely speaks, letting his actions, like painting the entire town red and renaming it Hell, do all the talking. It's a landmark performance that showed that Clint was willing to deconstruct his own image, blending the Western genre with a psychological horror edge that still feels unsettling today. Number 9. Frank Morris from Escape from Alcatraz 1979. In his final collaboration with director Don Siegel, Eastwood plays Frank Morris, the real-life mastermind behind the only successful escape from the world's most famous prison. This film is a masterclass in tension, focusing on the meticulous process of chipping through the concrete walls with nothing but a spoon. This is arguably Clint's most minimalist performance. As Morris, he conveys a high IQ intensity without the need for big speeches. He uses his physical presence and steely gaze to show a man whose mind is always 3 steps ahead of his captors. It's a gritty, grounded performance that reminds us why Clint Eastwood is the king of the less is more school of acting. Number 8. Frank Horrigan in the Line of Fire from 1993. By the early 90s, Clint began to lean into his own aging process. Frank Horrigan is a Secret Service agent haunted by his failure to save JFK in 1963. And when a brilliant assassin played by John Malkovich begins taunting him, Frank sees a final chance at redemption. What makes this performance stand out is the vulnerability. We see Horrigan struggle to keep up during foot chases. We see the literal sweat on his brow. Eastwood allows himself to look old and tired, making the stakes feel incredibly high. It's a rare, humanizing turn for an actor usually known for heroic invincibility. Number 7. Robert Kincaid in The Bridges of Madison County from 1995. If you thought Clint could only do tough, then this film proved everyone wrong. Playing photographer Robert Kincaid, Eastwood delivers his most romantic and tender performance. The plot follows a brief but life-altering 4-day affair between Kincaid and an Iowa housewife played by Meryl Streep. Clint sheds the armour here. He's pensive, artistic and deeply respectful. His chemistry with Streep is palpable, and he holds his own against perhaps the greatest actress of our time. It was a massive cultural moment, showing that the man who played Dirty Harry could also lead one of the most beloved romances in cinema history. Does this romantic term deserve a place in the top 10, or are there other Clint Eastwood roles you think should muscle in on this position? Have your say in the comments below. Number 6. Frankie Dunne from $1 Million Baby 2004. As Frankie Dunne, an aging, guilt-ridden boxing trainer, Eastwood delivers a performance that earned him a Best Actor nomination. When he finally agrees to train Maggie Fitzgerald, he finds a surrogate daughter, leading to a devastating final act that forces Frankie to make an impossible choice. The performance is a study in shadow and light. Frankie is a man who goes to mass every day just to argue with the priest because he can't forgive himself for his past. Eastwood's quiet, heart-wrenching scenes with Hilary Swank are what make this a top-tier performance. It is Clint Eastwood at his most emotionally raw. Number 5. Walt Kowalski from Gran Torino 2008. Walt Kowalski is essentially the old man Logan of Clint Eastwood characters. A grumpy, prejudiced Korean War vet, Walt finds himself befriending his Hmong neighbours against a local gang. It's a performance defined by literal snarl, but it hides a profound story of redemption. This was a massive box office hit because it felt like a meta-commentary on his own tough guy legacy. Walt is a relic of a passing era, and Clint plays him with a mixture of hilarious grumpiness and genuine tragedy. The ending is one of the most selfless moments in his filmography, cementing Walt as a modern icon. Is Walt your favourite modern Clint? Let me know in the comments. I'm keeping a tally of every vote. Number 4. Josie Wales, the outlaw Josie Wales from 1976. While the Dollars trilogy gave him fame, the outlaw Josie Wales gave him depth. After Union militants murder his entire family, Missouri farmer Josie Wales joins a Confederate guerrilla unit. When the war ends, he refuses to surrender, becoming a fugitive who inadvertently gathers a family of misfits on his journey to the border. Eastwood balances a lethal exterior with a growing sense of compassion. The performance is famous for its Eastwood-isms, the tobacco spitting and the lightning-fast draws, but the heart of the film is Josie's transition from a man driven by hate to a man finding reason to live again. Many purists argue that this is his finest hour in a Stetson. Now, before we enter the top 3, make sure you have subscribed to WN Movie Talk for more interesting, informative and entertaining movie-related discussion, where your opinions and feedbacks always count. So check out the channel and scroll through our ever-growing list of content now. But finally, the top 3. Do you know which of Eastwood's most famous characters are going to top this list? And if so, in what order do you think they will fall? Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, and what would make your own top 3 list of Clint Eastwood performances. Number 3. Harry Callahan, Dirty Harry from 1971. With one line and a Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum, Eastwood changed the action genre forever. Inspector Harry Callahan was the antithesis of the 1960s, a cynical, rule-breaking cop who did the dirty jobs that no one else would touch. The cultural impact here is astronomical. Eastwood's portrayal created the maverick cop trope that dominated cinema for 30 years. He brought an urban, gritty intensity to the screen that felt dangerously real in 1971, and even after 4 sequels, that first performance remains the gold standard for cinematic anti-heroes. Is Dirty Harry your number 1, or are you just happy to see a 44 Magnum? Let me know in the comments before the smoke clears. Number 2. William Money, Unforgiven 1992. If Dirty Harry was the peak of his stardom, then Unforgiven was the peak of his artistry. William Money is a killer of women and children who has tried to bury his past, but poverty and a sense of justice draw him back into the life for just one last bounty. This is the ultimate deconstruction of the Western hero. Eastwood plays Money as a man who is physically failing. He can't mount his horse, he can't hit a tin can, but when the old Money finally returns in the climax, it's terrifying rather than heroic. It's a haunting, Oscar-winning performance that serves as a sobering meditation on violence. Does Money take the bounty for the best performance in your opinion, or is his past too dark for the top spot? Aim for the comments and tell me if this is Clint's true masterpiece. But finally, reaching the top spot in this cinematic countdown is a man who redefined an entire genre without saying more than 10 words a scene. It's time to face the poncho, the cigarillo, and the ultimate cinematic enigma. The Man with No Name at number 1 from the Dollars trilogy, 1964 to 1966. Here it is, the number 1 spot. While Unforgiven might be his best acting work, The Man with No Name is his most iconic performance. Across the Sergio Leone spaghetti western trilogy, Eastwood reinvented the western for a global audience that catapulted him into superstardom. Clint's performance here is revolutionary because of what he doesn't do. He famously cuts his own lines, realising that the poncho, the cigarillo and the squint said more than words ever could. He created a character that was immoral, mysterious and effortlessly cool. This role didn't just make him a star, it created the visual language of the modern action hero. So that's my preliminary list for the 10 greatest Clint Eastwood performances, but like I said, this is just the beginning. I want to hear from the WN community. Did I rank Unforgiven too high or not high enough? Should his role from Eiger Sanction make the list? Is Gran Torino your number 1? Cast your votes in the comments below. We'll be reading every single one to build the People's Choice Top 10 later this year.